Hey everyone, Mr. Aaron's. Monday, working on our study guide. Tomorrow we have our test. This study guide is very similar to the test, so I highly recommend it. Taking your time, looking through these. There will be an answer key provided to you as well. That'll be all on Google or on Google Classroom. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to go over a couple key problems before you get started on the rest. So instead of doing this as an Edpuzzle today, we're just going to send out his YouTube link, and I would recommend just following along on your own paper as I go through. So if you have yours or have it online, pull it up somehow, one way or another. We're going to go through about 7 problems here, and then I'm going to let you go at it on your own and take the rest of your day to do your study guide, and then tomorrow we'll take the test. So we'll jump right in. I have these highlighted ones, the ones that I wanted to make sure I went over. So the first one we're looking at right here is from lesson 1.1. We have write an algebraic expression for the total number of the number r and 5. So I see the word algebraic expression. I know that's what I'm writing, my algebraic expression. And I remember that has 3 things. If you don't have these, remember that you can use your notes on your test, so it might be worth jotting down. Algebraic expression has a variable. That's our letters. A number and an operation sign. When I hear that, I think of plus, minus, divide, times. Okay, so I got write an algebraic expression for the total of a number r and 5. Now the key word here is total. There's going to be a lot of different words that mean different things when you're doing problems like this. But when I see total here, I'm thinking addition. Total is adding things together. So that's a word that you can remember. Another few keywords that you might see: product means times, quotient means divide, difference means subtract. Those are some keywords that I think sometimes we'll get confused with. Those 3, just ones I want to point out right now. So looking at this one, write an algebraic expression for the total number r and 5. I see that the total is going to be r plus 5. I know, pretty simple, but a couple things I just wanted to make sure we got over. So there's some other ones like that are going to be pretty important for you. So remembering an algebraic expression has a variable, a number, and an operation sign. A numerical expression does not have a letter in it, does not have a variable. Okay, for that page, that's all I'm going to go over. We're moving on to I'm actually going to add one in real quick. Yep, we're going to add this one right here. All right. Looking at number 9 now. We're using our inequality signs. We got greater than, less than, and equal to compare the absolute value of -3 to -2. I see this absolute value sign. I remember this back from our lesson 1.4. Absolute value is always positive. So I see this. I know the absolute value of 3. It's the distance away it is from 0. I know -3 would be 3 jumps away from 0. So I know it's really asking us 3 compared to -2. And I know that 3 is larger than -2. That would be our inequality there. Remember, those absolute values make them always positive. Moving on to this one down here. We're just asked to simplify this, to solve this. We're doing our addition right here. So I look at this. I see some negatives. I know I can add in any order, so I'm going to rewrite this as -179 plus -105 plus -40 plus 112. I decided to do that because I wanted to get all my negatives together, and I put them in order from the most negative to the least negative. When we're adding our negatives, we can do them just like positives. So I see these. -179 plus -105. I know that would be, let's see here, -2. There's a chance I'll make a couple of mistakes in here trying to do this in my head. 284. Yep, -284. And then we're going to add this to it as well. Brings us to -324. And finally, plus 112. Now we're doing a negative plus a positive. I could also think of this as, could rewrite this as negative 240. No, actually, we'll leave it like that. But if we wanted to, we could swap these around. We are allowed to do this and rewrite this as 112 minus. Those would be the same answer. But the way that I'm going to look at this is I'm going to think of it as a subtraction problem. And remember that I have more negatives than I do positives. So we got 2, 1, 2, 212. And I remember that we have more negatives than positives. So my final answer would be negative 212. Again, I am doing these in my head right now. I'm trying to get them done quick. There's a chance I made a small error in there. I can double check quick here on my calculator. Double check my work just so I don't screw any of you up. Let's just see what I'm doing here. And perfect. So I see this. I know. Remember, there's more negatives than there are positives, so the answer is going to be negative, and then I can do it just like a subtraction problem. Moving on to the next. Now we are subtracting our integers. I remember our subtraction for integer rule. Add the opposite. So that is what we're going to do here. Add the opposite. We got 64 minus negative 42. I can rewrite that as 64. Adding the opposite. So I'm adding, and then the opposite of negative 42 would be 42. Look at that. We made an addition problem out of it, and I know that would be 106. On to the next. We're now looking at multiplication. I've got a positive times a negative. That means their signs are different. That means this will always be a negative. Remembering, our positive times a positive equals a positive. Our negative times a negative equals a positive. Our positive times a negative is a negative. Our negative times a positive is a negative. We got those same signs up here, and those different signs will make it negative. Positive, 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 negative, negative, positive. All right, so we have a positive and a negative, so I know it's going to be negative. I can multiply this just like what I would. 5 times 9, I know it's 45. The answer is going to be negative 45. Pay attention to those positives and negatives on those. Take another look at those if you don't think you know them quite well enough. We're going to take a look at one more. We got negative 45 divided by negative 9. I'm going to write it like a fraction right here. Same rules as for multiplying. Positive divided by positive equals positive. Negative divided by negative equals positive. Same signs. If they're different signs, it will be negative. So I see these. I see two negatives. I know the answer is going to be positive. We're actually doing a very similar problem to what we are up here. I know that 45 divided by 9 is 5. Positive 5. I got two more for you here. Next one, we're doing our graphing. This is some new information, so we haven't spent a lot of time reviewing this. We're asked to label each quadrant on the coordinate plane below and graph the following points. So I'm going to start by labeling. I know this off the top of my head. If you don't, something to jot in your notes. Here's quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that quadrant 1 is a positive, positive. Quadrant 2 is a negative, positive. Quadrant 3 is a negative, negative. And quadrant 4 is a positive, negative. Those are the ordered pairs. So I'm looking at these right up here. We're asked to graph the following points. I see A, I see negative 4, or negative 2 and 4. I see it's a negative, then a positive, so I know it's going to be in quadrant 2. I could label out here a little bit. We'll do it real quick. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Something like that. Okay, and now I'm going to start negative 2, 4. I remember this is my x, this is my y, and we're looking at an ordered pair. It always goes order x, y. So I know my x is my first number, my y is my second. My x is horizontal, my y is vertical. I remember that because I got my y here. It goes up and down. So we're looking at A. We got -2. I'm thinking of my x right here. -2, 4. We know it's going to be quadrant 2. We already decided that. 1, 2, 3, 4. This would be A right there. B, I see a positive, positive. I know it's going to be in quadrant 1. I see 3, I go over 1, 2, 3. I see 2, I go up 2. Always go over, then up. And there's B. C, we've got a positive, then a negative. I know that's going to be quadrant 4. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way on the edge. And -4, going down 1, 2, 3, 4. There's our C. And finally, D, we have a negative, negative. I know that's going to be quadrant 3. Going over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go down 1, 2. And it says, don't forget to put a scale on each axis. I got my scale. I got my axes labeled. Quadrants. Looks good. All right. Last one. Describe the order of operations. Anytime I see order of operations, I immediately write down PEMDAS. I know that's what they're talking about. PEMDAS. You would follow in simplifying the expression 4 times 3 plus 4. Got those in parentheses. Divided by 5 plus 2 minus 3. All right, here's our PEMDAS refresher. P, I know it stands for parentheses. So I see these first. And they're going to ask us to describe the steps, use words and numbers. I'll let you do that on your own. I'm just going to do the problem for now. So I see parentheses right here and parentheses right here. I'm going to solve those to start. I know 3 plus 4 is 7. 2 minus 3, that's going to be -1. I can rewrite this whole problem as 4 times 7 minus 15 divided by 5 plus -1. Okay, I solved our parentheses. Next, exponents. I don't see exponents. Remember, our exponents would be something that would look like this, right up here. No exponents. Okay, now we're on a multiplication division step. We remember once we get to this step, we go left to right. So I see right here we got multiplication. Right here we got a division. 4 times 7, 28, minus 15 divided by 5. We got to remember to do that before we do our subtraction because we still have to do the division. 15 divided by 5 would be 3 plus -1. Now we're on our last step, addition, subtraction. Remember, they go together, so we go from left to right. Even though there's addition at the end, we go from left to right because we have addition and subtraction. 28 minus 3 is 25 plus -1 equals 24. Final answer there. So you would describe what you do that in the steps you'd take to do that. But yeah, there's a few of those problems on the study guide. I hope that helped a little bit, gave you a little bit of a refresher of this chapter. Go through the rest of that, and that's your math day today. You ready for that test tomorrow?